7 o'clock, let's close the meeting to order. Secretary Sexton, can you please take attendance?
Senator Affleck. Boyer. Here. Brooks. Brown. Shander. Anderson. Hill.
Here.
O.
Here.
Pollard. Here. Kelly. Here. Lupini. Here. McKenna. Here. Nathanson. Here. Anya. Here. Grata. Rieger. Here. Reed. Sylvanek. Byers. Here.
Thank you. Moving on to reading, correction, and approval of minutes in the board.
Oh, Clea.
Here.
Wicks. Here. Zani. Here.
Check on the door. Double check. Reading, correction, and approval of minutes. Senator Wicks.
I approved last week's minutes on unanimous consent.
Is there a second to that motion? Second by Senator Anya. Any opposition to that motion? Seeing none, the minutes are approved. Moving on to guest speakers. We have no guest speakers this week. If you have a suggestion, please bring it to me and ask me to who you would like to be guest speaker. Okay. Moving on to visitors' comments. Are there any visitors' comments?
Hi, my name is Riley Hearn. And well, there are quite a bit more than her review that I had printed these out for, so I'm just gonna not hand them out because I don't want people fighting over them. I came from a meeting of the Climate Engagement Committee, which is a group on campus. It's of faculty, students, and staff concerned with the culture of diversity and inclusion on campus. As I've raised this issue with them, and I was advised to come here to raise the issue with you as members of the student union. And the issue is, please interrupt me if you feel like I'm going out of bounds here. The issue is that I don't believe that we will succeed as long as the current academic climate persists on campus, which is one that is very high stress, as all of you are probably well aware. There is a monumentous culture of just academia at all costs. As Clarkson has a reputation of academic superiority, but the way we achieve that is very stressful considering that the nearest big city is the capital of another freaking country. There isn't much to do to let off stress, and we have to bring in, during dead week, we have to bring in outside help to relieve student stress. We need to bring in therapy dogs. We need to hold raffles with products bought off campus. There isn't much to do on campus to relieve stress. Yes, but while that is one facet of it, and one that I would also like some attention being brought to, the main reason I came here is because of the culture of academia, where professors just don't seem to understand that their course is not the only course that students are taking that semester. Not even the only thing that students are doing that semester. There are several professors who will design their course as though it is a full-time job, and you have to treat it as if it is a full-time job.
Riley, give me a second.
Sure.
Can I suggest that we bring this up in new business and we can open discussions, and you can have the floor, and we can discuss this
Of course.
at a longitude?
Of course.
Thank you so much for bringing this concern forward. But just visitors' comments, we'll try to keep it short to like
Yes.
couple seconds.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Any other visitors' comments? Seeing none, moving on to general comments. Any general comments? Seeing none, moving on to officers' reports, starting with myself. The only thing that I kind of want to make a clarification point on is I know many of you saw the student announcement sent out today. That petition, I didn't know about. It doesn't matter if I knew about it or not. Just a point of clarification that you should bring forward to your constituents is no signatures are valid on that petition until the motion in which the petition suggests CUSA look at is off our table. And currently, we tabled it last meeting, and it is something that the body is looking at. So I encourage the students, if they feel that that's a motion that we should review, to review it, but it cannot be reviewed when we are currently, when it's currently an active item on our table. Senator Wicks?
What happens if it goes back to the student body instead of us reviewing it first?
In order, because it's on our table, the motion says that you can petition to bring it back up, but you can't petition something that the body's currently looking at. Does that make sense?
Right, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Seeing none, moving on to Vice President Atkins.
I had other priorities over break, so I would get information about the endowment set out. Senator Johnson put together a pro-con sheet, which is very helpful about the three major options. So we'll get more information on that. And I'd like to remind people that business casual includes pants. I've noticed some senators wearing shorts recently, and that's not business casual.
Thanks, Vice President Ackman. Anything to bring back to him? Seeing none, moving on to Public Relations Director Ackman.
In regards to prior to breaks, forum in the Science Center, I found out that there's an issue with the YouTube videos. I'm still working on those with uploading them all at the same time onto actually a new account in order to make it all public, and it does take some time considering the network Wi-Fi is fairly slow.
And then to bring back to Public Relations Director Ackman. Seeing none, moving on to Treasurer Levy.
Wait, so I was not at the last finance meeting. I believe Senator Rieger went on that last week, but the official budget request sheet did go out. There is a set of guidelines, rules in that email, so if you are a board member filling that out for your club, please read that. A lot of people just kind of jump into doing the form, and if anybody has any questions, they can email me, or any concerns with it, if there's any clerical errors in it, any wrong numbers, or if it says like 2017 versus 2018, I had to draw it off. Anything like that, please bring that up to me. I can address it, I can fix it, and it'll still be set out to everybody. So those are due this Friday. If you do have a problem with meeting that deadline, do not wait and not say anything, because there are issues when budgets do come in late. Just email me about it if you have a problem, if you can't get it in by Friday. Other than that.
And then to bring back to Senator Ackman.
When will we be signing up to listen to minutes?
Thank you so much for asking that. I did not forget that we're going to be doing that.
Thank you so much. So when we go through this week, eBoard is going to, I'm going to create a folder, and then eBoard's going to kind of review a little bit to create some questions, and then we'll be sharing that document with the senators, so whoever comes in for those meetings to help out has like a list of the questions, things that they wanted to point out, and so I will be sending out a sign-up sheet probably this week or
Secretary Sexton.
And just a quick thing, if you're gonna be missing a meeting, please email me so it's excused. There's quite a lot of unexcused today, and you can only have a certain amount, so.
Thank you very much. And we're back to her. I do want to make it clear, if you miss your allotted absences, you will be brought up for the future. Just want to make that clear, not joking around. Okay, moving on to Advisor Lisa.
No report.
Moving on to Advisor Herb.
The current year budget meetings, meaning I'll be meeting with clubs in 2 different ways. So one will be coming up next week and then one will be coming up later in the semester, just to make sure that budgets are all on the same page with what I have in the records. So if you're wondering about your own budgets for your clubs or if you want to pass over on to anyone else, I'll be sending them emails about those. The printer in the office is not working currently until Wednesday morning at the latest. We're hoping someone comes in tomorrow morning, but it could also be Wednesday morning, so just be aware of that.
Any questions? Let's move back to her. Advisor Lisa, you want? Advisor Lisa.
I don't know why that reminded me. When the renovations happened in the Christmas suite, we were promised new furniture because they were taking out those weird horseshoe tables, and those arrived today. They're in big boxes taking out the entire suite. Yeah, the tables are ginormous, so who knows where they'll fit. But we will have real working surfaces for everyone to work on soon, once the tables are put together.
If anyone wants to help with the tables and chairs, that'd be awesome.
It's definitely not going to be me. Anything to bring back to them? Seeing none, moving on to committee reports, starting with academics and policy. Vice President Hendrickson. Vice President Hendrickson is extremely sick currently. That's the reasoning why she did not get that letter out. Senator Dwyer and Senator Hill are currently working on that, and we'll get that letter out as soon as possible for you guys to review and to send out to the student body. She came down with the sickness on, I think, Monday or Sunday, and that was just about the time I was getting off my food drugs. So there is an overlap, but then we got them working on it. It'll be done shortly. Any questions from that? Senator Dunn.
So Ramsey Hatchnasher spots open for 5 or 6 meetings now. When are we going to start the process to replace him? Because that should have been done a while ago. It's kind of ridiculous that my class is a shorter representative. And I know she's sick. I'm not sure who would take that into place, but I think that needs to be filled by next meeting because it's ridiculous.
I will bring it to your attention if that was brought up as a concern. Any other questions? Seeing none, moving on to student life, Vice President Uflay.
So I actually just made a purchase for 222 foam light sticks. They're going to be given out to the first 200 people who attend the Waka concert on this Friday. I'm also working on creating some more events to start for student life in April. I will, if anyone has any ideas, feel free to email me or just talk to me after the meeting. The open ski went well. I couldn't attend. Unfortunately, I had a prior obligation, but I was told that we had about 60, 70, 80 people who showed up and wore green, which was a good thing. I also, for those in my committee, I'm going to be emailing you guys this week. I had some family issues come up with the break, so I never got that email. I'm going to send out a when is good again because not everybody filled that out. If you guys can just fill that out probably by Wednesday after I send it out tonight, that would be great. And that's all I have for you.
Thank you. Anything to bring back, Senator Uflay?
Anybody want to hand out sticks with me on Friday?
I'll do it.
Okay. I'll let you guys know.
Thank you guys very much. Advisor Lisa.
I would make a recommendation to the committee that when you have events in the future, require that the senators sign up.
Okay.
In light of Senator Wigg's email, I'm disappointed that no one on Senate showed up.
Seeing none, moving on to new business, starting with motion 03-26-18A. Senator Allen.
I move that the Coosa Senate accept the recommendation of the Finance Committee to grant AIAA $550 out of conference contingency for T-shirts with the stipulation that they list Coosa as a sponsor.
Is there a second? Is there a second from Senator DeClaire? AIAA has the floor.
Hi, my name is Dalton Alexander. I'm the president of the AIAA, which stands for the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics. It is the professional society for aeronautical engineering, and we are hosting a conference April 13th and 14th, or 12th, 13th, and 14th. We're expecting over 100 students from around the Northeast to attend our conference, and it's a student paper competition, so there will be other professional judges, and we would like to get T-shirts, Clarkson T-shirts, that we can hand out to those who pay the registration fee and those who participate in our conference.
Any questions for Senator Ani? That's Senator Reader saying yes. Any other questions? Senator West.
What will you be doing with the money from the registration fees?
We are using some of the money to pay for more events. We're supplying all the food and we've got other things planned. We've got awards for the winning papers and various things of that matter. Then it's required by the sanctioning body to have a registration fee.
Any other questions? Seeing none, if you could step out, I will close back in the decision.
Thank you.
It was the decision of the Coosa Senate to grant you $550. You can see Advisor Herb in the Coosa suite. That's her right there. She will work with you on the best way to fund it. She does her magic. I don't really know how it works. Thank you so much for your time.
All right, thank you guys.
Now moving on to motion 03-26-18B.
I move that the Coosa Senate accept the recommendation of the Finance Committee to grant the class of 2018 $5,500 out of balance forward for a senior days carnival.
Is there a second? Is there a second by Senator Tier? Senior class, you have the floor. Senior days, whoever is the representation.
Do you want to do it?
Basically, the way Senior Days is working right now, we have about a $20,000 budget, and rather than spending all that budget on one event or having to charge students a bunch more money in order to attend the events, we want to basically help get coverage for covering the cost of the stage. Basically, we're having a live band come in, and the band itself costs about the price that's on there, and we're going to cover that, but the stage that we're trying to have, you have to pay to rent it, because Clarkson doesn't have a stage itself. So, Alex working with Cub to get all that details figured out, when we were trying to, rather than spending more money than we actually have without permission, or
trying to get that permission.
trying to get permission.
Right now, we're trying to be proactive with it, especially because the band's going to cost a good amount of the money. We put most of the money in so that the entire student body can interact with the inflatables and everything like that. That's going to cost a lot of money. So we figured that this is going to be the one thing that most of the students can go to that are still on campus, which is why we're trying to get funding from CUSA specifically to do that as well. And that's, we can't get out of purchasing a stage, unfortunately.
A little historical backing. All of the years I've been involved in CUSA, the senior class has at least gone over their budget $10,000. They just go over it, and then they just are gone, so there's nothing to do. So I applaud you guys for coming in and asking for comments.
Basically,
Trying just not to go over
we're
it.
trying, yeah.
Really trying hard.
We're currently planning on charging the seniors $15 per event, but we're trying to use that only for food and stuff. For want to go anymore, and then we won't have the money to subsidize as we're planning to have money. So we want to make sure we have that little cushion, plus the concert and the labels and everything that is at that event is open to the whole campus. The only thing that's not open is the food. So,
Any questions for them? Senator West?
What band?
it's called
What is it called?
90s Night.
90s
It's
something?
like a 90s cover band.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Any other
If you're still around campus on Thursday during the senior week,
We
feel free
also
to stop by.
sign up to be fun police.
Also true. That's another time.
Any other questions? Treasurer Elliott?
Are you still asking, is classes for 19 officers still mandated to help
Yes.
out with? Okay.
You're gonna get an email soon. Don't worry.
I would ask the body to open a motion to give Ryan the floor. Senator Huff?
I move to open the floor to Ryan.
Floor is, second second by Senator Anu.
Thank you. So, once again to state my purpose and where I'm here from. I'm a student member of the Climate Engagement Committee. For those of you who aren't aware of what that is, we are a group of faculty, students, and staff on campus that are concerned with advising the administration of the campus on matters of diversity and inclusivity. I raised an issue with them with how I felt we should be going about this, and when I pointed out to them that we may have that our strategy might be flawed because it didn't account for something, they said to come here because it might be something that CUSA as a student union may be able to alleviate a bit more. Alright, so the issue is student stress levels. Academia, just no outlets. As Clarkson has a reputation and is very gun-ho about maintaining that reputation, but it comes at the cost that several of the several of the people I work with who are members of the Student Success Center say that they would be overtaxed if every student who needed their help came to see them. Because there are students who come to Clarkson and healthy, mentally stable individuals, not to say that they completely lose their mind, but they do leave a bit less healthy than they came here. And that's a problem for the Climate Engagement Committee and for any group concerned with diversity and inclusivity on campus, because in that environment, it's trying to, if I started harping on like, make sure to not use the incorrect pronouns to individuals, or make sure not to make fun of somebody's name or their accent, and it's not going to come off as me trying to help you later on in life in the real world, which that's a term that I incredibly resent, and because it just throws away any prior life experience, but okay. Hey. It's going to come off as me trying to force you to consider or extra information that, depending on your preconceptions about the world before you came to Clarkson, you might decide you don't really need. You might decide that this is information that is unimportant to you. You might decide that this is information that you're never going to have to really consider. And then, and about 3 years down the line, when you're wondering why you're about to be fired, the pink slip is going to come in and it says, "Don't make fun of Patier's nickname." And it's not funny, and no one thinks it's funny. And at that point, most people take that as a sign of being oppressed, and well, tensions rise. I'm not trying to portray this as doom and gloom. I'm just painting one of many scenarios. Quite frankly, a worst case scenario, but still plausible. I think what CUSA as a student union can do is, first of all, try to invigorate student groups on campus a bit more, or be a bit more on their case about just continuing to find members, be a bit more on students' cases to get out to clubs and activities, because as there is a drop-off in student participation. I have been a member of 3 different clubs now that have virtually disbanded because everybody who was showing up graduated or left for whatever reason. and I'm here instead of at a meeting for a fourth, which is very damn near the same. And it is quite disheartening. And the other thing that the other thing that might be a bit more difficult, but I think would be a noble cause for you to undertake anyway, would be to advise towards not necessarily lightening the load, but certainly advising towards language being put into the faculty guide, the faculty handbook that says you must design courses with consideration towards the fact that A, your course isn't the only course a student is taking in a given semester, and B, your course isn't the only thing a student is doing in a given semester. They may be club members, they may have full-time jobs outside of Clarkson's campus because they're trying to pay tuition, and they might be CUSA Senate members who have to, and officers who are busy with officer things and have to worry about that one materials exam that everyone fails at the same time. And I got an earful about that last semester because I was in the same class as 2 other materials students that would not shut up about it. So I know. Everybody has that one exam that every course seems to have that one exam that nobody passes. If you're in Chem 2, it's the acids and bases exam. And looking over at these 2 people from class of 2021, you do not know. Oh, sweet summer children. But yeah, advising towards not lesser course loads, but trying to strike a balance between the academic standards we all know we want this school to achieve, because those academic standards benefit us. It allows us to have employers come to us looking for our work, instead of us having to go out and find work with a bunch of people who've never heard of this college that is so far out of the way that the nearest big city is the capital of another country. It allows us to have access to internships and careers abroad, and easier access than other students. We pay a steep price here, but we get a lot of bang for our buck here. And I don't want that to change because, for the sake of lowering the stress level, I think what we need to do is just reevaluate how we go about getting that academic standard, or for something that doesn't cause everyone to pull their hair out in the process and go near manic while they're doing it. Because, first of all, it's just not a healthy environment, and flat out. And second of all, it hurts other initiatives on campus that are trying to help just as much as your professors are. Or these diversity things are the difference between you being ostracized in larger society and being accepted, well, not being like excluded and stuff. The difference between you having an easy transition into the real world, your career, or your life outside of wherever you came from, and your life. I kind of lost my point there. I'm just trying to say, hey, there are lots of benefits to just finding ways to reduce stress on campus, and really
showing students more outlets of where they can put this stress in a more healthy manner.
More advertising for the Student Success Center, especially their time management resources, is during first year seminar, if you have any way to advise towards that, add more lessons on time management, because I remember first year seminar, and I could have definitely used a time management lesson in the 7th week instead of a 7th week guide to how to navigate accommodative dining, because after the 7th week, if you didn't figure out accommodative dining yet, you'd have been dead. If you had some like lethal allergy and you didn't know how to negotiate that, you had bigger problems by that. And not to mention negotiating with the administration towards striking a balance between academic integrity and not making students regret their decisions about coming here, not making students fear for their career security when they come here, or not having a scenario where students become so stressed out that Clarkston had one of the worst years for turnover ever last year. It's pretty important.
Do the senators want to add anything that we should look into to kind of help address some of these concerns? Senator West?
It's just more of a question for you. I think you bring up a very good point. Do you believe that maybe if CUSA sponsored a couple more events that would help alleviate stress from students? Do you think that would help at all?
I would say there's definitely a space for it. One of those clubs that I was talking about earlier that I was a part of that are virtually now defunct is Spectrum, which had previously sponsored events and geared in part towards education and in part towards general stress relief. If, like I said, all the members graduated or left for other reasons, and there's basically nobody left to man the stations. So I see a couple of people giving Senator Rebecca a couple of looks. Yeah. People leave for whatever reason they want.
So, I just wanted to clarify, you want us to try to advertise more for the other organizations so that we can get more active involvement as more of a stress relief to the campus, but how do you want us to go about the diversity and inclusion, or even just the addressing the faculty concern?
I would say leave diversity and inclusion to CIA because they're trying to rally towards pushing that a bit more in a way that students can understand and accept. And also leave it to the climate engagement committee because that's all we're about. As for the advocating towards faculty and staff, I would say just strongly advocate towards them that there needs to be a new balance in terms of academic integrity versus student stress levels. Because it's not every professor that's doing this, but I've encountered more than one professor that has a very callous attitude towards the idea that they're not the only person you're going to see in a week.
So do you think we should support your organization as well as CIA more then for that as one of the solutions?
You can. And support towards CIA would definitely be appreciated. And I can tell you, Danushi would be very happy to hear that you were all going to be supporting lending a supporting hand. In case you can't tell, I might have a little bit of a stutter. And Climate Engagement Committee is an administrative body, and we handle things. Things with student input. We would definitely appreciate a hearing from a lot of you. I don't think we necessarily need sponsorship. Although if you're willing to offer it, I'm sure Shuang Ives, Aves and Danushi, who are both like the people not really in charge of it, but who definitely head up the meetings, would be elated to hear that CUSA is getting more serious about A, cutting back on student stress levels on campus, and B, assisting the diversity and inclusivity initiatives that are present on campus.
Senator Applebaum?
Have you gone to faculty to bring up this issue?
Faculty members yet, partially because I was directed to come here after the last Climate Engagement Committee, which was literally the Thursday before break. Hey.
And that's something I can definitely help you with. I have a lot of familiarity working with Faculty Senate, so if you want to come to me and we can go, we can also kind of present this idea to Faculty Senate and see how we can get them involved on this as well.
Excellent.
It's something I'd be more than willing to do for you and with you and for the student body.
Excellent.
Any other questions? I know I have a list of at least 4 items that we could work on from what you presented. Thank you so much for coming in. I had a lot out of it. If you have anything else you want to add.
Just general, two general things that I'd like for you to do on this. Anything you can, and your very best at it.
Definitely. Thank you so much for coming in. So, Senator McKenna's motion motion from last week does not allow the Senate, unless there's another motion brought up, to bring up the motion that we discussed previously, which was, I believe, Senator Wix's motion to suspend bylaw 12, section 12, part E. If there's a motion, bring up that for discussion, that would be an appropriate time for it. Senator Zinn.
This is actually unrelated to that. It was to all the people that were on their phones while he was talking. That was incredibly disrespectful.
If that's wanted to be brought up right now, you can bring that up. If not, any other new business can also be brought up at this point. Senator Webb.
I would like to open discussion on using CUSA's finances to get the senator's swag or whatever, because technically it would be a misuse of our money.
Okay, you made a motion to do that. Senator West.
I'd like to open discussion on using funds for CUSA. Darn.
Just for future, I move to open discussion on CUSA swag. You make it that simple. Is there a second? See a second from Senator Levine. Other new business. Senator Prada.
I move to open discussion about possibly considering any sort of gift or anything for Amber, the surgery cashier who passed away over break.
Is there a
I wanted to
second?
see something else.
See a second from Senator Anya. The floor is yours. Other new business. Senator Anya.
I move to open discussion on the bus service that we are offering.
Is there a second? See a second by Senator Anya. My workable action from that is I will talk with President Collins and see if we can get valid numbers where we can start moving forward with this. Also, advise Lisa to get us numbers. Thank you. Any other new business? Senator Anya.
I move the CUSA Senate accept my resignation, and I have a letter attached to it. So before I start, I'd like to remind Ethan Pike that I have the floor, and you do not have the floor, so please do not cut me off when you correct me. Dear CUSA Senate, I realize by resigning, I'm doing a disservice to the students I represent. I also realize a lot of you will leave this meeting tonight thinking I am a quitter, and I don't deserve CUSA president anyways. Maybe you'll think I'm weak, or that everything you've heard about me must be true. I'm here to tell you that I don't care anymore. The past 6 weeks, this body has consumed me and my every thought. I'm angry about my disqualification because I believe the committee has failed to provide real hard evidence to this body to support their claims. However, that is not the reason for my resignation. Part of me wants to stay and fix this broken Senate, but I'm resigning for the other part of me that is breaking. Since announcing my candidacy, people have been just plain mean, and I expected that. But what I didn't expect was for the harassment to continue for 2 months. The worst of it has come from members of this body. I won't say some of the things that have been said or who said them because I'm sure Ethan will say I'm out of order. I'm a very open and honest person, even though a lot of you think I'm shady, but I won't talk behind your back, I'll say it to your face. So, for the sake of keeping the drama to a minimum, I've kept quiet. Anything you've heard, or maybe even spread about me, I promise is untrue. And if you think for a split second that I might be talking about you in this letter, I am, because I'm honest. So congratulations on breaking a person and making every space in this campus dreadful and uncomfortable. I hope you find satisfaction in making you know you stressed someone out so much and made them so upset that you made me physically sick. I'm not a robot, though I've been called cold and emotionless, and for the sake of my sanity, I'm done with this body now and in the future. People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And I promise I'll never forget how you guys have made me feel. Please accept my resignation for the class of 2019 senator, and good luck finishing out the next 5 weeks under your narcissistic leader. Sincerely, Aaron Tommy.
Any discussion on the resignation? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion on the floor? All opposed? Any abstentions? Seeing that, the motion carries. Any other new business? none, moving into announcements. Senator Keller.
An email will be going out in regards to funding eventually, but if you guys want to get a case member person, let us know. We also are looking for silver monitors for our event next Thursday at 8 to 10, we leave here at 7:40, so we can start getting. So it's, we just need people to be there, so we have 6 members so far, and it's a lot of, we really appreciate their help.
Any other announcements? Secretary.
Springfest is this Friday. Coach will be tabling selling tickets from every day this week from 11 to 4 in the Student Center. Tickets for Clarkson students and students in general are $10. If you have any questions, feel free to email me.
Senator.
For students in general, cost